Is Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores worth the money? Overall, through my time with this, I did get quite a bit of enjoyment from it, and really I ended up enjoying it overall, but it was left in this classic place Horizon finds itself, where I love Horizon. I've bought both collector's editions. I want to play tons of it, but there's always so much else I want to play, and I never get that feeling that I fully want to finish it. But overall, the big question for you would be, is it worth paying for this DLC? Or if you have the expansion with the complete edition, is it really worth taking the time to go ahead and play it? A lot happens in this one. Whether we're coming back into the world, we're getting to see new monsters that they've introduced, we get to meet new characters, actually expanding upon the new faction they introduced into the game, the people that come from, I think it's implied that they're from Japan or Hawaii. They actually have a whole religion based off the people who left Earth, and we're getting to expand on them. The Orin, if I'm correct. And that's really cool to see. We're introduced to Seika, who is essentially, I always looked at her as like a clone of Aloy. They're sort of dealing with similar struggles that Aloy dealt with earlier in the series. And you're getting to see that blossom out as they deal with each other. There's plenty of expansion that happens in this game, whether it's from more puzzles that allow you to see, say, beautiful views, sort of similar to the landscape pictures you used to get. You get this one in the air. And then, of course, there are a few other hidden ones, along with a cool little cute toy collecting one that you get. I had a lot of fun with that one. That is the main one I finished, but I didn't even actually see all the side stuff because I didn't end up finding some of it in my time, which is sort of like a capstone of what my thoughts were on the game. Beyond that, we do spend the whole time in the story dealing with who I'm sort of offended, this evil mustachioed diva rich dude, as he's trying to utilize the Orin's love for the people, I forget what the Orin call them, but the people who fled Earth in the main game that have come back. And it's pretty funny, honestly. I think it's hilarious, this guy who has a bigger-than-life ego, as Aloy is having to navigate between these Orin who are fully within their religious beliefs to, like, want to be with these people or follow him. Landra is his name. And beyond that, combat is great. Once again, they have this great ability to come back and introduce new mechanics into the combat, which does sort of shine a negative, is if you've stepped away from the game and you're wondering if you need to come back to play the DLC, you're gonna have a struggle of the fact that you gotta relearn the combat, you gotta relearn the controls. I was playing, ironically, some Elden Ring before I got back to this, and having my dodge on different buttons was really messing with my head. Having to relearn all the systems that Horizon likes to have in its combat was pretty difficult, but a lot of the new mechanics and systems they introduced in this game were tons of fun, and I really liked them, but it's definitely would be a better DLC if you're playing it directly after beating the game rather than coming back after a while. Also, you do have to beat the game to get to this DLC because it is blatantly set behind or after the events of the first game. So if you're trying to, for some reason, get into Horizon for this specific DLC, you're going to be running into some issues and some struggles of what you can do. And then once you go beyond that, it is one of the most beautiful games. I did find myself turning it to the performance mode over the quality mode this time. Usually I'll play in quality, but just for some reason this time I was feeling I wanted the 60 FPS. I couldn't deal with the 30. I'll take away from some of the pretty looks for that. And I didn't feel like I lost much. It's just there are moments, so if you do play in quality mode, you're gonna have obvious frame dips and things like that in fights, because some of these monsters are consistently oppressing you with all their crazy attacks. Seika I liked somewhat as a character, but I think the biggest issue I have with this story is it was fine, but it felt a little rushed. Like, the overall plot with Landra, not that rushed, but the plot with Seika that they were trying to develop, I think in total, like, the main story is 7-8 missions, and you pretty much get through them pretty quick if you mainline them, which I ended up doing. I got addicted to some side things, but for the most part, I just mainlined through the game. I went to a couple question marks here or there on the map, but overall, I mainly focused on heading straight through the game. But yeah, so this game's a time commitment, is the way to put it. Is if you're coming back into it, you definitely needed to have upgraded some of your weapons, because if you don't, you're gonna notice that enemies start to get really spongy. I had that very much towards the end of the expansion, and it bothered me. It bothered me quite a bit, so keep your eye out for that. Other than that, though, there's a lot of fun to have here. If you have the complete edition or you are a big Horizon fan, this is 100% worth playing, because it's just more Horizon fun in a gorgeous area, introducing new and fun game mechanics. But if you're looking to get into this for just because you thought it looked cool or something, you have a long way to go to get to it. You have to play through all of Forbidden West, and it's nothing crazy. So I mean, it's definitely worth the price if you're a fan and you enjoy Horizon. Or if you have the complete edition, it's definitely worth a playthrough, because it's just going to expand upon the game you want. But there are going to be some bumps of getting back into this DLC and trying to understand what you're doing and trying to figure all that out. But other than that, let me know if you've played this DLC, what your thoughts were. And thanks for watching, y'all. Please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.